questions.
Perfect. All right, well, looking forward to this next game. Had a good weekend. Obviously had time to watch the film and to get some things going for today's practice. Feel really good about the team and the overall mindset of the team, but definitely have some things that we need to address. But I love the team dynamic, the leadership on our program, the way the guys are getting coached, and so just got to keep building on it. You know, I think you guys heard me talk enough about the game post game. I thought it was a good experience, good environment. Man, the fans are awesome. I can't say that enough, and just really enjoyed the overall experience, especially getting that victory and the way we did it. But looking forward to a new week and looking forward to this challenge. You know, we have a really good UCF team that we're going out to visit in Orlando, and so tons of talent, well coached. Gus Malzahn's a really good coach, a really good person, and I've got to know him quite a bit through all the coaches things and the events, and have a really good relationship with him. Love the way he coaches his team, and really looking forward to this matchup. I think there's a lot of things that they do that could cause some issues for us. It did a little bit over this last weekend, but looking at the matchups, we know we're going to get their best shot. And you look at what UCF did against Iowa State. They pretty much had a really close game, could have came out with the victory. So it's definitely got our attention, got our players' attention. So it's we know we're going to get their best shot. We're going into their home, and we're going into Florida. We look forward to seeing our fans there too, but we know it's going to be a difficult environment to play in. But we're looking forward to the matchup, and looking forward to being in Florida, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. My wife's a Florida girl. She's from Polk County, from Haines City High, and so I know the area really well. And we're my family. We're in Orlando quite a bit, so looking forward to seeing the in-laws and seeing the family and everyone there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I do like the matchup because I think UCF's going to get a lot of. I mean, every week we're seeing these teams get a lot out of us and testing us, which is helping the program, and we're learning a lot of lessons along the way. So really do like the matchup, though. We know we're going to get their best shot, and I say it every week. We just got to make sure we give them our best shot as well, and we live with the results. But we got to stay humble, stay hungry. A lot of good things are happening for our program, but we got to keep working, and this week no different than any other week. We just got to find ways to get better and stay humble and find ways to improve. That's going to be the key for us. So, what questions do you guys have?
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Mitch Harper and then Jared Lloyd.
Yeah, Kalani, after watching that Oklahoma State game over the weekend, what tendencies did you see that maybe caused the lack of success stopping the run against Oklahoma State?
Well, I think you look at the game. I mean, they did some things that we haven't seen a lot on film, and the things that they were committed to doing, which was run the quarterback. We weren't expecting that. We tried to make some adjustments. The interesting thing, they had a bye week, so they had time to do that. We had a short week and a quick turnaround. But once we made some adjustments, the key was that we gave up, and this defense we don't give up very many big plays, but we gave up, I think, 2 big runs that cost us maybe 50 yards each. That's 100 yards in 2 runs. But for the most part, I thought we kind of handled it pretty well. The issues the mistakes were made were missed assignments that we could fix, guys just doing their part, and then some of the fundamental issues like missed tackles and things like that. But when you're going against a great back like Ollie Gordon, man, that happens sometimes. That's where you need more than one body in the area to make the play. But I think the minimizing the big plays is kind of what we've been really good at, and you do that by great effort, but also by making sure that everyone's assignment sound. So we're going to go back to that, and we'll plan on it. We plan on UCF. They have dynamic run game. They have quarterbacks that can run. I say quarterbacks because all of them can run, and they have running backs that can run. They have a great skill in the receiver position and a physical, tough O-line. So that's going to be difficult for us. And you look at defensively, they're stacked. They have athleticism, and I mean they create havoc. They got 2 pick sixes against Iowa State. So they're definitely a dangerous team. But I like the matchup. I think it's got our attention. I like the challenge for our players, and then really looking forward to this game.
And following up on that, UCF's R.J. Harvey's pretty close, kind of similar to Ollie Gordon in many respects, and then Jakari Brown, their new quarterback. Are they kind of are they very similar to Oklahoma State, how they utilize their ground attack, or kind of a different look than what you've seen this season?
Well, I think Gus Malzahn can do a lot of different runs. I think they can do some of the things very similar. They already have that in their arsenal of type of plays that they can run. The Oklahoma State adjustment was that we weren't expecting them to just sell out on with a QB run, and even when they brought in Bowman to play, he still ran the ball. So we had to keep that in mind as we went through our scheme. And then the difficult part is that we just struggled on third downs, getting out of the third downs and the short yardage, because they're third and mostly manageable and short. And then even when we had third longs, we weren't able to capitalize on it. So that was a little bit difficult for us to deal with. And I know that long drive, especially at the end of the game, that wasn't good for us. I mean, they basically marched down and took a lot of time off the clock and got that score to go ahead. Glad our offense was able to come back and get the win for us. But defensively, there's some things that we could do way better than what we did, and I think the adjustments can be done right away. But you have to give Oklahoma State a lot of credit. They're committed to doing that, and that's something that we didn't expect. And when we made the adjustments, I think we were able to stop their big plays. Now we just need to find ways to get out of third downs and force them to punt the ball. So. This is a new challenge, very similar. I think they can do a lot of the same things, but we'll see it coming, and we have to plan for it. So it's going to be a good game for us.
Kalani, when you have a game like that, what's the difference between trying to be disruptive and being very aggressive versus getting caught out of position? How do you strike that balance?
No, you just keep working at it and keep practicing it. I mean, that's, we're going to have to find ways to be really assignment sound, but then also, execute with great fundamentals. That's just more practice and getting back at it and being physical. That's what we're going to have to do. I mean, that's our mantra. But you also got to be committed to learning. So we're going to find ways to learn and get better and get back to it and see how we perform Saturday. So that's going to be the fun part of the game. Every week is a different deal, and I think that the challenge will be great for our defense.
In addition to that, what do you expect from the defensive leaders? I know you always want it to be a player-run team. What's on their plate? What do they need to do to make sure the team's ready for what you're facing this weekend?
They've been doing it already. They've done it all year long, so I'm not too concerned about the leadership on the team. They have the platform to take care of this team and to challenge them. So what I'm saying to you guys isn't going to be new to our players. I mean, the leaders have been on top of it from the very, very beginning. It was even after the game. They know what to do next time. So they're excited about being better this week.
We'll take our next questions from Jake Hatch and then Kevin Reynolds.
Kalani, you alluded to it in your post-game comments, talking about maybe some of the defensive players going beyond the scope of their responsibilities on individual plays. How do you go about reining that in? Is that just film review and telling them, hey, just do your assignment?
Yep, just keep working. I mean, that's stay humble, work hard, be hungry, all those things. That's what we've been saying every week. So, it wasn't our best week for the defense, but we know how to fix it, and that's what we're looking forward to right now. So. I'm not concerned about what others think. I'm concerned about what I'm going to see from our players and the work that they're going to put forward. And so far, with that extra day that we had to prep, I'm really happy with the head start that we have on this week.
Also wanted to ask you, we've seen Jake get some awards today just for his performance over the weekend. Looking back at that, is there anything new that you look back on that drive and say that stood out to you versus what you said after the game?
Well, I mean, we practice those situations all the time. I know there's a lot of drama that goes into that, and it was awesome to get that win that way. I don't mind the boring wins either. So I like that this team is committed. They keep the faith. They believe in each other, and we'll just keep working on those things. But you go to work. That's the key. I mean that's if we do things the right way and we're able to be humble and just keep working and find ways to get better. I think that's going to be our goal. So it was a good team win. I'm proud of what the offense was able to do, but there's a lot of room for improvement in all three phases.
Darius was talking about it a little bit after the game, that last play was originally going to be a look for JoJo Phillips. I was curious, like, what made you trust him in that spot, and how has his role in the offense kind of evolved to the point where, you know, he's on the field and you're looking for him in a really tight moment?
Yeah, we trust all our players. We trust all our receivers. I mean, that's luckily we have more than one to go to, so we know that teams are going to, you know, they may try to do things to take away Chase or Darius or whatever it is, but as we go through our progression, I mean, there's always a primary receiver, and then you have to go through your looks, and so that's what A-Rod teaches the quarterbacks to do, and then we just got to, you know, everyone's got to execute it and be where you're supposed to be, and then big plays can happen.
I know Mitch talked about it a little bit with the quarterback change for UCF, but has their offense changed significantly since they've made a quarterback change in your mind, or is it pretty similar?
In some ways, but I mean, you look at it, they have, I said before, they have so much offense. It's difficult to prepare for everything, but that's what we have to do. That's the challenge. I like that we got an extra day to start on it and to take a look at what they do. I think they keep a variety of ways to hurt you. They can get to the perimeter. They can run the ball up the middle. They can do it with the quarterback, with the running back, with the receiver in motion. So it's all the stuff that we've seen, but they're a very dangerous team. We have to tackle well, and we have to be assignment sound in on our defense. And then offensively, we just have to execute and take care of the football. We do those things, and then I think we'll just live with whatever happens at the end of the game. I mean, that's kind of been our goal every week. This is no different. It's just a different beast that we're challenged to face this week compared to the other weeks that we've had so far.
Let's go Mitch and then J. Drew.
Yeah, Kalani, who would have thought BYU to play in a conference game in Orlando, Florida? I'm curious, what benefits are there, in your opinion, playing in a league that spreads, you know, across the country? It's a national league. What do you feel are some of the benefits of that?
Well, I mean, for us, it's going to warmer weather. That's going to be nice, you know, and in Independence, we saw fans all over the place when we traveled, and so to see our fans in other places, that's going to be awesome in that region. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I love being part of this conference. I think every week as you watched over the weekend, it's a challenge for everybody. I mean, there's nothing that you can just really predict. And so when you're looking at it, for me, it was just control what we control and get to the game and see what happens. And but like every week you look at it, it's a difficult conference to play in. A lot of parity. A lot of great teams, well-coached teams by all the coaches that are here. So that's and it's fun to be a part of a great conference, and with all these partners that we get to play, and going out to Orlando to play this game is going to be a lot of fun.
With your wife from Polk County, you noted, is your wife going to be going to the game, and are you going to have a big family contingent there with you there?
We have a 2-year-old, so the 2-year-old dictates what we do with our life now. Those of you that have young ones, you guys get that. But it's a chance for me to see my in-laws and see all the family that we have down in that area. And so it's going to be a lot of fun, man. The focus is the football game. It's not. That's all I'm going to be focused on. And I do love my in-laws and everybody in that area that we know really well. But I'm going to be focused on this game and getting our team ready. It's not a vacation. We got to go there to be ready to play this game, and our focus has got to be that way, even for the team and everyone. But I want the fans to have fun, and in order for them to have fun, we have to do our part.
Kalani, I wanted to ask you about the interior defensive line, just how you feel like they've come along this year, John Nelson, Blake Mingleson, and their backups.
Yeah, they've done a great job. I think when they can make their presence known, then that's when we can see that we can control the front a little bit. But being more consistent and listen, the team's kind of banged up. I mean, that's we're in the 8th game of the year. I think there's a lot of teams that are banged up right now. So there's a lot of guys that are playing that aren't 100%, and it's usually the guys up front that they got a soreness here and there and are dealing with some type of flaw in their health, and so a lot of them are just trying to grind through it. I appreciate them doing that, but that's I have to keep reminding them nobody cares about them being sore and tired. This is what they worked out in the off season for, so you just got to enjoy it. I challenged them to relish the grind. Now it's time to relish the soreness, man. You get my age, you're going to wish that you can feel sore someday. You know what I mean? So from football. But these guys are in a really good spot. It's okay. We want them to toughen up and be ready to play. Get after this one, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Go Jared and then Jake.
Kalani, I know you don't pay much attention to expectations or recruiting rankings or things like that, but how fun is it to see underdogs be successful, whether it's the team that didn't have had a lot of people not paying attention to them, or players that have joined the team that maybe were walk-ons or didn't have a lot of recruiting? Just how rewarding is that when some of those guys are able, or as a team as a whole, are able to make those steps?
Well, I think the key is to not be affected by the outside noise, and it could be in the fact that people are like praising you, or they're doubting you. Either way, you control what you control, and so a lot of that is not letting the outside influence how they go to work and how they influence their lives, their roles, as sons and as brothers and as friends and husbands and fathers, those things that really don't have anything to do with anybody else. So we're trying to keep these guys in a mindset of that whether they're doubting you or praising you, it doesn't really matter. You still have to go to work, and you still have to find ways to improve. And a lot of that is accepting responsibility for some of the mistakes that you made. Also, it's important for us to praise them for the good things that they're doing, but at the same time, it's just, that's part of life. You just keep rolling through it. I love that these guys can stay focused, and we were trying to keep them humble and hungry and focused on what the task is. And that right now, this is the season. It's a 1 week at a time, and everyone gets bored by us saying that, but that's what we got to be focused on, and really focus on what we want to accomplish. We're in the spot that we thought we could be in, and it doesn't really matter if people believed us or not. The fact is that we can control what we control, and that's get after every week. And I've been really impressed with the leadership on our team and the way that they handle things. And I thought they've embraced everything, the good and the bad. And so I'm enjoying coaching these guys and seeing the leadership and the energy that they bring to every day that we go out and we practice. And it's been so much fun, man. And I'm glad that I get to coach them.
Kalani, I wanted to ask you about L.J. Martin. Is that performance that he put on Saturday, Friday, is that what you've been expecting from him? I know he's dealt with the injuries, but is that what you were expecting from him coming into the season, that type of performance?
Yeah, I think you guys have all seen that too from him. So he's been able to do things like that. And I think when you run into injuries, it causes a roadblock in it, and maybe for us it's just getting him healthy. And now that he's back to healthy, he's back to his normal self, and we had to do that with him and Hinckley. So those guys are. I think Hinckley had a great game too. You're looking at what they're doing, and it's the other stuff that I like the most: the pass protection, what they're doing when the ball isn't in their hands, the routes that they're running, all that stuff. I have to give a lot of credit to the receivers blocking downfield, the tight ends blocking downfield, and obviously the O-line. So everybody's got to do their part, and it's nice to have all your cards that you can play with now. You know what I mean? So, and we know that we were able to test some of the depth, and I'm glad that we were able to answer the call when those guys were out. So I like the way the team's working. We just got to keep rolling. Everyone has room to improve, and that's what we're trying to get done.
And then one personnel note real quick. Kodiak's still not on the depth chart. Is that a longer-term injury? What's the status there?
He's close. Can't really say for sure if it's this week, but I'm pretty confident that he's going to be ready for the next game. But this one, we'll just have to kind of feel. If you have to be able to practice and practice at a high level, but we can take advantage of him being ready later. But it's a close one right now. It's just probably too close for me to call right now at this moment. But we feel really confident with him returning for sure the next game.
We'll take our last question from Jackson Winder.
Jackson Winder from the Daily Universe. Coach, the offense looked very poised and calm during that last drive of the game. What did you say to them, if anything, before that last drive?
Yeah, there's not much to say. I think the team was all saying it, and the belief that we had in all of them. We practice those situations all the time. I mean, a lot, and so we're in a good mindset. It's just a matter of them going out and getting it done and executing. And I'm glad they were able to make the plays, and that was the whole point of taking the timeouts. When Oklahoma State was in the red zone, is I was getting kind of close, so I wanted to preserve some time. Luckily, on one of the plays, the receiver went out of bounds, so they were able to stop the clock, and we didn't have to burn another one. But I'm glad we were able to preserve more time for the offense because we needed it. I mean, we had 10 seconds to spare, but I didn't think we needed to get there. And as we evaluate the game all the time, I'm always looking at, was it the best time should we have clocked it or taken the timeout? Those are things that we're always trying to find ways to improve, and that's my job as a head coach, is to know when to take timeouts, know what to do in situations, and know when So when that's all happening, Darius caught the ball. I was planning on him probably getting tackled, so I was looking at the clock and trying to decide if we're going to take a timeout because we knew it was going to stop. And so those are the moments. There's good chances for all of us in these type of situations for us to get better, and I'm one of them that's trying to find ways where I can be the most efficient as a head coach as well.
Okay, thanks, Coach. That's all the questions for today.
All right, thanks, guys. Go Cougs.
We will have Jake Retzoff up next.
You knew it right away, too.
Yeah. I did.
It's all good. Hey, if we were perfect, we wouldn't need life.
Exactly. True.
Hi, Jake. How are you?
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Jump right into some questions. Let's go Mitch Harper and then Jared Lloyd. Go ahead, Mitch. Let's go Jared first.
I don't know where Mitch is, but I'm sure he'll be back shortly. Jake, so I just asked Kalani this, and I'm curious about your perspective about the underdog mentality, the feel, being doubted, the benefits there. And his point was you can't get too high or too low. And you guys have always said that throughout this season. How hard is that to do as a player? Because on the one hand, you see people doubting you. On the other hand, you're having a lot of success and they're praising you. How hard is it to keep that even keel?
I mean, it's important, and our team's done a good job. I've talked about this before, is how our team's keeping the main thing, and that's going out there and winning games. And we know, whether it's being hyped up or whether it's being the underdog, that we know that the only people who knew what we were going to do this season is us. And so regardless of what it is, we're just going to go out there, and we still have the mentality to prove people wrong. Being the underdog this week or being the favorite last week, no matter what, still go prove people wrong. Every win we get this year is still proving people wrong, and so that's what we're kind of rolling with.
We saw a lot of offensive success on Friday. How close is this offense to clicking on the level you know it's capable of clicking at?
Ooh, so close, like a play away, a play or two plays away. I think that everybody has done so good, and everybody collectively is taking small steps, and that's making a big difference on the field. And so we are right there, man. We are on the cusp.
Go Jake Hatch.
Jake, you've talked a lot, I think, recently with different networks, and you've gotten a lot more attention. Obviously, it's the 7-0 start. How are you handling all that as it continues to kind of roll in? We've seen 2 awards just this morning.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of cool when I got notified about that this morning right before they went up and posted it. And, it's all gravy, to be honest. Like I said, the main thing, no matter what. Just keeping the main thing. It's all cool. It's all fun, stuff like that. And all it's going to do is build up the BYU football brand more. And I'm just excited for us to be able to put on that put on our game at that level of attention, at that level of media attention, and because I know our guys are ready for it, and I know that, like I said, we're good at keeping the main thing, and that's all I'm thinking. Whenever something gets posted, I'm excited for it. It's a cool deal to get the recognition, but I also, at the same time, remember the PFF ranking to start the year. So, and nowhere are we done, and we're excited to keep this thing rolling.
Looking back at that final drive, watching film review and the like, do you have any different thoughts on it than you had in the moment? Because you were pretty effusive about it, obviously post-game.
Yeah, that was fun. I should have thrown the dig to Chase on the ball, the check down to Keanu. Chase was open there. Chase was also open for 5 minutes on the 4th and 7. He did a good job of staying open. But yeah, I mean, it was just an incredible drive, incredible play at the end, making 3 guys miss. Yeah, it was just awesome. I mean, looking at it in the film and stuff like that, it was like I said, it was like a preparation coming to fruition and everything just kind of clicking when it needed to click.
Go ahead, Mitch, and then Jake Drew.
Jake, you noted that PFF grade in the preseason just moments ago. Do you look at that? Like, is that on your phone wallpaper just as motivation every day? Does that kind of fuel you every day?
I got a screenshot of it for sure in my phone. I think it was put on the first broadcast to start the year. But it's something that, it's just fuel to the fire. There's a lot of doubters to start the season for us, and we're not forgetting that. And there are still doubters. And so we're excited to go out there and make a statement every week, and Statement 8 is coming up.
Well, and just to follow up on that, I mean, you guys are number 11 in the AP Top 25, but it doesn't feel like there's still national talk about you guys being in that upper tier in the sport. Like, how much is that fueling you guys to – you're still undefeated yet, still a lot to prove?
Yeah, 11's cool and all, but ever since we got ranked in the top 15, it's like, to me, it's not enough. We just got to keep going and keep winning games, and we can't control what the opinions are because we know it's opinions on that top part because, there's plenty of really good teams that are not ranked high enough, plenty of teams, that maybe are ranked too high, but I don't get into that. All I know is that we got plenty of things to prove on the field every Saturday or Friday night like this last week, and no matter what, just keep thinking about what got us here and keep putting in the work week in and week out.
Go ahead, Jake.
Jake, you mentioned the BYU brand and building that. How old were you when you first basically heard of BYU football? And then also second to that, what was your initial very first reaction when, I guess it was probably A-Rod, actually got in contact with you and mentioned the words BYU with the letters?
We watched a lot of college football in the house growing up, for sure, whenever we weren't playing our own games on Saturdays. I don't know if I could pinpoint a time when I, first watched BYU, but I know that BYU was, really good when Zach Wilson was here. Of course, all the talk was about him and getting drafted really high, and, that's kind of more recent, I would say, than when I actually initially saw them. But that was when, in my mind, it was like, oh, okay, that's a place that plays ball. And then, yeah, when they reached out to recruit me, I was excited, man. I talk about the story, when I went out there, they came to me at Riverside City College, and I told a few of my receivers to come out, and all 30 of them came out because BYU was coming out. That goes to show the excitement that they had, but that's just as much, if not more, excitement that I had when they came out to see me and came out to talk to me and then invited me out for that first unofficial visit. That was awesome, and I knew that this would be a special place when I came up here to visit.
Okay, we'll take our last questions from Jared and then Sean.
Dick, I was thinking about over the weekend how the SMU game, the defense really kind of kept you guys in it until the offense was able to make that last drive. Baylor game, the defense had to make the stops. How nice was it for the offense to get its turn to have that game-winning moment, really?
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, that the OSU had, 2 weeks to prepare for us, and I heard they changed a lot up offensively, and our guys, didn't exactly know, what they're going to come out in drive after drive, just because it was a lot different than their base offense the rest of the year. And so it's cool to see those guys persevere and still make the plays when they needed to make the plays. And then it's just, the offense coming in there and do what we're doing. It was, of course, a lot of fun, man. It was exciting to do that. But at the same time, this team plays such great ball together, that complementary football. We do that so well that there wasn't a flinch, really. It was all right, now it's our turn to do it.
along those same lines, Jake, what are you seeing from what do you know what you'll see from the defensive guys, but there's obviously some pressure after giving up a lot of rushing yards and facing a really good rushing team. What's it like watching those guys get ready for UCF?
Oh, I mean, it's only Monday, so it's hard to see the real preparation yet. But I know that defense is going to come out firing. I know that they are all not happy with the way we won that game, and I know that they're, of course, good at celebrating the offense, and they're jumping on our backs and congratulating us. But I also know that if I know Jay Hill, that defense is going to have a different sort of attention to detail this week, just because, like, things didn't go their way in that game, but they still, like I said, they still fought to the very end, and they were fighting all the way to the end of that last drive, and then they made the play on the last play. You never know how those Hail Mary pitch plays are going to end up, and they went out and made a great play on that, and so, Swerve came up with the tackle. But, yeah, I know those guys are coming out with a different edge this week, and it's important for us offensively to not get complacent and keep that edge and practice with intensity every week that we have been doing all season. And so every week we earn the right to play well on Saturdays or on Friday nights, and last week we did that, and I know this week that defense is going to do it with a little more edge than usual.
Well, Jake, you touched on it right there, but just kind of to follow up, Kalani mentioned a couple of times just now with us about how this UCF team is a really tough matchup for you guys. What's kind of, I realize you haven't probably deep dived on them or anything like that, but what's kind of the number one thing that sort of jumps off the page from your perspective as a quarterback when you look at them, that defense, those players, that kind of thing? Yeah, I mean, I think their record does not speak for how good of a football team they're. They're probably the best 3-4 football team in the country, and probably a lot better than a lot of people who have better records than them. Just they fly around. They do a lot of good things, defensively especially. I mean, you guys saw the way that the Iowa State game ended on Saturday. I know this is a really tough team, and they played them really tough. I know they're going to play us really tough, especially since they'll be at home. So going to their place, it'll be a fun trip.
Okay, thanks, Jake. That's all the questions for today.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Okay, next up we will have Will Farron. Hi, Will. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Doing good. Thank you. Okay, we'll just wait for a couple hands to show up. There we go. Okay, let's start questions with Jared Lloyd and then Jake Hatch.
Perfect.
Hey, Will. We talked a little after the game, but I want to get an overview from your perspective about how the special teams is doing. What's your perspective on it? Because a lot of it just seems just solid. You guys going about business, doing your jobs.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. This year's been a lot of fun. As a special teams unit, we take pride in just getting our job done. We're a group of people that oftentimes doesn't get a lot of spotlight, and that's kind of what we like. Unless it's Sam Vanderhart running a fake punt or something, we pride ourselves on just going out and getting the job done and getting off the field and being a support to the teammates. So it's a simple job, and we take pride in that. So yeah.
When your number has been called, most of the time the special teams guys have been able to come through with that complementary football amount. What's it been like seeing offense do it, defense do it, special teams do it, and doing it all together so far through 7 games? It's
been awesome. That's something that Coach Papinga really emphasizes. We have our special teams meeting every day, and from every game he'll pull up a certain series or something where you see like a kickoff get tackled inside the 20 or a punt pin, and then you'll see that defensive series and then how that translates to the offensive series. It's cool. You hear football talked about as like the greatest team sport, and that really goes to prove it, where you have the offense making plays, you have the defense making plays, and then you have special teams, which is a mix of both, and it's just cool seeing everything come together.
Will, when you have missed kicks this year, they seem to have gone, I guess, right for you. Is there something in your I guess, your kicking motion that seems to push it that direction? Does that make sense?
Not really, no. It's kicking's a funny little game where you can hit a ball really well and have it not go through the uprights. Most of my misses this year have been close but not in, and whether it goes to the right or to the left, there's not a specific thing in my swing or a specific piece that makes it do that. It's sometimes you push the ball a little bit, it goes to the right. Sometimes you pull it and it goes to the left. It's kind of like a golf swing. But I wouldn't say there's a specific motion or a specific piece of my technique that makes it go a certain way. Sometimes you put the ball up and it doesn't go into the uprights. So I'll control what I can control as part of that.
Also in the past, Lee Johnson has been around the program and helped out with kicking. Is he still helping you out? Is he around the team still?
Lee's always around. Yeah, he's in his role upstairs. So he's not able to do a ton with us, but he's awesome to talk to and to kind of pick his mind about his experience in the NFL and at BYU. So we see him all the time, but he's doing his role upstairs.
So you guys don't have a specific kicking coach then, or anything like that? Is that what I take?
Not a specific coach for kicking, no.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go Mitch and then J. Drew. All right, Mitch seems to be having some internet issues. Let's go J. Drew and then Sean, and then we'll get Mitch when he's back on.
Hey, Will, as a golfer, I hate going from elevation. I think I can hit the ball a long way, and then I go to sea level and reality hits. Is there a change for a kicker with you going to Florida this week in that regard?
Technically, I'm sure there is. I doubt anyone will notice any difference. Sometimes you see kickers come to Provo, or when we go to Laramie, and kickers think it's going to be this drastic change where you get another 10 or 15 yards of range. I haven't noticed it to be that extreme. Sometimes you'll see the ball carry a little more elevation. By rule, the ball will hang up in the air a little bit longer when you're at a lower elevation, but it's not going to be enough that anyone notices.
And then I wanted to just ask you about your teammate Jake Retzlaff. How would you describe him, his personality, and maybe kind of his leadership skills as he's become more and more the face of the BYU football program?
Yeah, Jake's a stud. So me and Jake came into the program at the same time, and we did our study hall hours. And the first thing I noticed about him is he's always like, everyone wants to talk to Jake. Everyone wants to have a conversation with him, and he kind of he's not better than anyone on the team. Like he is friends with everyone. Everyone's excited about him and friends with him, even to the point where, like, I don't know if you watched any of the softball games last year, but in the BYU softball games you could see him and Trayson usually behind the backstop, and they're just cheering for the softball team. And that's probably the best representation of Jake that I've seen, where he would go to the softball games, and then before you knew it, there was a group of 15 guys plus at those softball games, and we're all just cheering and having fun. So he's kind of the head of that, and that's probably the funnest part about Jake.
Thanks. Good answer.
Go ahead, Sean.
I got a follow up on that real quick. Will, were you ever a part of that gang of 13 or 15
Of course.
players that hung out at soccer games?
Yeah, well, I went to a few of those games, yeah. I dragged my wife to a couple of those games too, and now she's into it. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun. And part of that too was our strength staff this offseason encouraging us to go and support some of the other teams. So, yeah, I got to go to a bunch of those, and my wife and I go to a lot of the baseball games too. So we'd go and participate in both of those.
Well, it's the connection between you guys and the other sports on campus, I think, is fairly mutual. I see a lot of softball, baseball, soccer players, volleyball players, everything else at football games, and kind of supporting you guys as well. And they're all saying really good things about this team for, I guess, fairly obvious reasons. Kalani likes to talk a lot about staying hungry and humble, though. As one of those leadership council members that you are, what's kind of the trick? Do you guys have like little things that you focus on to keep this team grounded as the wins keep piling up and you start seeing the rankings, and Jake just barely got named like some national award this morning and all of that? Like, are there things that you guys do to kind of keep that hungry and humble type of mentality?
Yes, everyone has a job, everyone has a role, and this team's really good at not getting past that. Where I'm focused on going out and kicking footballs. Jake's focused on playing quarterback, and all the different things that come are exciting and they're fun, but it's not where our focus is. And I think part of that too is just how close this team is, where we're not chasing these things. Sometimes it can be an issue if people want those individual things and that's the main goal, but that's not the main goal for us. This year it's kind of felt like we're just a big old group of friends going out and performing to the best of our ability. So I think that's also a big piece of it.
All right, let's go Mitch Harper.
Will, in that spot where game was tied and you had an opportunity to give BYU the lead in the fourth quarter, how much do you enjoy those moments as you experienced on Friday?
So much fun. It's awesome. That kick specifically too, we had the injury timeout and then we went to a commercial break, and I felt like me and Sam Vanderhaar were standing on that field for about 5 minutes before we kicked. And it's so cool to be able to just be out there and have the whole fan environment, stadium packed out, and we just go out there with your boys and go and do your job. It's cool after. Part of, like, I guess what shows how close of a team we are is after those kicks, I can't even do anything because I'm getting swarmed by all of our O-linemen, and they take their job as seriously as I do in just protecting for the kicks. So it's cool. It's fun. It's fun being out there, get the job done, run off with the boys. Jake's there high-fiving us. A bunch of other guys are there high-fiving us. So it just adds to that.
We've seen you make a 54-yarder this year. How far do you feel your range goes this season?
We'll see. Depends on circumstance. When the ball gets cold, it doesn't fly as long. I'm confident going as far back as my coaches will put me. Back 60, somewhere in there. We'll see. But for me, I usually don't have to worry about that. They'll put me out for kicks that they know I can make, and I won't miss short. So I'll put the ball through no matter where they put me.
Go ahead, Jake.
Will, I wanted to ask you about your kicking mate, I guess is the best way to probably term it, with Sam Vanderhaar. You're both transfers into this program. What's your relationship like? 'Cause I know he holds for you on your kicks.
Yeah, we have a really good relationship. I got to host him when he visited, and I think we see special teams very similarly. We take our jobs very seriously. For him, he didn't hold last year at Pitt. When he was playing at Pitt, he held in practice, but he wasn't their main holder. But when he came in here, that was our big focus, and we got really close spending time and getting him comfortable holding, catching snaps, hitting his spot. I think I would say that Sam Vanderhaar's probably taken the most reps holding than anyone in the country between now and last January, going out like 5 days a week with the snappers, and just making sure that we're dialed on everything from him hitting his spot and turning his laces. And we have a lot of fun with going out. I would text him and we'd talk about how, like, the day before, because with kicking you can't just kick every day or you'll kind of damage your leg a little bit. You have to watch your reps, and we always talked about how the morning that we're going out to kick in the off season, we're getting just super excited to go out and get better at our craft, where you kind of get a little giddy on Monday night because you know that Tuesday's a kicking day, and that's how it is for us. That's how it still is in the season, where we're just excited to go out there and do our job.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions for today. Thank you so much for being here.
Perfect. Thank you.
Have a great week.
You too.
Okay, we'll have LJ up next. He's just finishing another interview, so he will be with us shortly. So plenty of time to think about your question. Thank you so much for being here.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get started with some questions. Let's go Jared Lloyd and then Jake Hatch.
Good to see you again, LJ, and congrats on a great game last Friday. I wanted to ask what it's like for you when you've been dealing, you've dealt with the injuries and had to try and bounce back from those things. And when you're able to put together a performance like that, go for over 100 yards, what's that feeling like?
Yeah, it's awesome, just being out there, being able to just get back out there and, just go compete with my teammates and stuff. It's been real fun.
What's that first big run where you make a cut, break a tackle, get that, get a first down? What's that feeling, when you're actually like, okay, here we go?
Yeah, it's been a little bit, a while since I've done it. So, just being able to get back out there and just do it again, because, for me, I was kind of a little bit doubting myself, just coming off my injury, not sure if I had it still. And, just being able to do that really was a confidence booster for me.
LJ, as you've dealt with the injuries this season, how have you just kind of navigated all? Do you go back to last season when you were injured for a spell as well, just kind of thinking back, hey, I'm going to be back at some point?
Yeah, this one was a little bit more serious than last year's because last year's was more like a bone bruise. So, I was practicing and stuff, but it was just like once it came into like game stuff, it was probably a little bit smarter for me to sit out. But, just this year was like a real, I was out for practice and stuff like that. So, it just went back to, just talking to my loved ones and stuff like that and, just talking to the guys around me, just having fun and, just trying to find other things in football just to get by for those couple of weeks.
Also wanted to ask about the guys in front of you, that offensive line. How have they changed from last year to this year from your perspective?
Yeah, I feel like, they're just getting the job done. They're just doing a really good job. I feel like they were a little bit fueled from last year, taking the blame for most of it. And, they really came out this year and, they're the reason why we're playing so great, just always having a clean pocket and, just having big running lanes. So they've been doing great.
Go ahead, Mitch.
LJ, with you back and Hinckley back, Flau back, what's this running back unit now capable of going into the final 5 games of the season, you think?
We were always capable of stuff. It doesn't matter who's in the backfield. We're capable of, doing anything. I think all of us are up to the challenge and all of us are capable of making plays.
You touched on how, this injury kind of raised some doubts maybe and give you that confidence boost, that performance over the weekend. How difficult is that, navigating injuries and the impact it has mentally on, making sure, trying to work your way back to getting back to your normal self?
Yeah, it's definitely tough, just because you're out of things for so long. And, just like even being out there on Friday, there's like some situations where you're just not in practice, like when people are actually trying to tackle you and you got to make a move, you're just not used to it. So it takes a little bit just to get back, but it just comes back like right in the bite.
Go ahead, Jared.
LJ, what's it been like watching Jake Retzlaff kind of develop into the player he is right now?
Yeah, I feel like, he did it all the time in practice, so it's really nothing surprising to us or to me, actually, just because I've seen it in practice. I've seen the work he puts in, so it's really no surprise to me or any of our teammates, I believe.
I asked him this, and I want to get your perspective from as a running back, but how close is this offense to being as effective as you guys know it is capable of being?
Yeah, we're just getting better every week. We're just seeing more and more things. Coach A-Rod's been doing a great job just implementing things as well as the rest of the coaches, just getting us right, prepared for games. And, I feel like week by week we've been getting better, and then this week is another step to try to get better.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, LJ, as you guys move forward here, you're making the trip to UCF this week. I know it's early in the week, but what do you see from them defensively?
Yeah, they're a good defensive team. I believe they have one of the best run defenses. So, we're going to have to really step up and in the running back room and try to break more tackles and stuff like that. But just do our part. And I feel like as long as we do our part and we go out there and execute, then, they're a really good team, but it should be a fun matchup, and we should be able to compete.
Are you a guy who has different feelings about playing at home versus playing on the road at all?
No, I just love the environment, just because, this is all I've dreamed of growing up, just being able to play in front of tens of thousands of fans, just being able to go out there and do that. So it doesn't matter if it's home or away, I'm just always trying to win, and it's fun at away environments as well as home environments.
Go Mitch Harper.
LJ, with some games under your belt this season, what do you feel has been the biggest difference from your vantage point of competing as a sophomore in your second year, navigating the Big 12 compared to what it was like as a freshman?
I feel like I'm more relaxed this year. I kind of understand what's going on more. I feel more comfortable in the offense, so it's just been able to go out there and compete and just been able to relax a little bit more and just have fun doing it.
It feels like that's kind of been a theme for this whole team, having a second year part of this offense. And how big of an impact do you feel like that's playing in this strong start that this offense and the whole team at large is having this year?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot, just being able to have guys that are in the offense, so, people are able to break it down easier and just really teach others. So I feel like it's been a lot easier, just having Coach Harvey and the other running backs just being able to teach me stuff like that. And, just having Hinckley and Miles as mentors, they've really helped a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, LJ. That's all the questions we have for today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody else, for being